I want some of your brown sugar. I want some of your brown sugar.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. This is Brown Sherry Commentary, and I'm your girl, Kayla. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe for more videos about Black entertainment, Black womanhood, and whatever the heck I feel like talking about this week. All right, let's get right into it. So we are going right along in our Insecure Season 5 weekly recap and review. This episode is episode 8. Choices okay. We are only 2 episodes left from the finale, y'all. We are really getting down to the nitty gritty though, and I know, like I said, a lot of us are not too happy on this season is going, but I do think this episode was very revealing, so let's just get right into it. So this episode starts out with Issa and Mr. Nathan in bed together, which you already know I love to see it. Any episode that starts with Nathan being naked is a good episode. I don't, that's just what I believe, okay? Don't judge me. But they are talking basically about Tiffany moving away, which was revealed to us in last episode that Tiffany's husband got a job in Colorado, so they'll be moving there pretty soon. And of course, Issa's still processing that because, you know, her and Tiffany are close friends, and this is probably the first time in her adult life that a friend is moving so far away. And so they're just talking about it. And, you know, Nathan's like, well, you know, now you have somebody you can go visit. And, you know, they make a joke and saying, you know, you can come with me. And he's like, no. And then they go to the bathroom and they're talking. And, you know, Nathan is expressing how much he enjoys, you know, waking up to Issa and spending time with her and, you know, being at her place and whatever. And, you know, he basically hints at the idea of moving in together. Now, a lot of people on Twitter think that Nathan is a bum, okay? That's a lot of critiques, and this is not beating the bum allegations, I fear. I know you my mans and everything, but this is giving it's not beating the allegations. I know you're not a bum, but the streets are saying you're a bum, and you suggesting to move in, because it seems like you're saying, because Issa can't move out, right? Because she's still like the landlord or something, or building manager, so she can't leave, right? So I don't know that. And then you were using like a milk crate looking thing as a coffee table. Or bedside table. I don't know, Nathan. I don't know. It's not looking good for you and the bum allegations, I fear. I'm just saying. Okay? But of course, you know, Issa's like, you know, that's a big step, which it is, because I mean, Issa has not really lived with a man since technically Daniel, but like obviously since Nathan. I mean, not since Nathan, since Lawrence, right? She has not been in any type, I mean, she hasn't really been in long-term commitment ever since Lawrence. So that would be a big step. But Miss Issa Girl cannot move in with Nathan until she unpacked them feels about Lawrence, which, you know, we all know she is not over that man, and this has definitely been solidified in what happens in this episode. So moving right along, so she basically says she'll think about it, and that's kind of that. Then she has this event. It's kind of like a cultural, like looking like art flea market type of deal, where we see that the one clothing company she was trying to partner with a couple of episodes, that was kind of hesitant because of Mr. Crenshaw, eventually comes around and they're there. And, you know, the sponsors that she's been working with since the Crenshaw thing are receptive to her. They're singing her praises. Everything seems to be on the up and up in terms of Issa and this partnership, that it's looking like it's going to be a permanent situation, which is obviously very good for Issa and her brand and her company. And so she's feeling good, right? And then, you know, Molly and Kelly are there, and Issa's brother is there, and they're, you know, they're being super supportive, you know, showing up, you know, complimenting Issa, singing her praises. Also, Nathan and his cousin is there, which is really dope, because as we know from a couple episodes ago, that Nathan and his cousin are in a tense situation ever since Nathan found out that his cousin kicked him out. He was under the impression that the cousin's wife was the reason why he got kicked out, but it was actually his cousin. His cousin also still does not know that Nathan has bipolar disorder, and that's partially why, or the main reason why, he was acting the way that he did way back when. So yeah, so it's good to see that they're hanging out and in a good place because they did seem to be very close at one point. But yeah, and then, you know, Issa and Nathan being so cute in this scene, and they're being all lovey-dovey, and you know, and Molly and Kelly are cracking jokes. And you know, Nathan has to go, and so he's like, "Oh, I love you," and I told you, it just rolls off the tongue so beautifully. You know, it's beautiful, okay? And he's saying it all open in public in front of everybody. We love to see it, even though I know it is not going to last. But can I just enjoy it for a while it's happening? You know, can I just live in ignorance for 2 seconds? Also, Kelly and Molly are just Molly is talking about that she's still working on her parents' like finances and like their will and like, you know, all those type of arrangements, and she's, you know, talking about how hard it is and things like that. And then Kelly, you know, says that she can help her out because Kelly does work in finances. Molly's like, yeah, sure, why not? So from here, we're going to discuss what happens with Molly, and then we'll get back to Issa and her career stuff. So Kelly and Molly go to Molly's house to discuss the stuff with her parents. And on a positive note here, Molly's mom is on the up and up. She's talking. She seems very, you know, aware of what's going on, and all that good stuff. And we love to see it because, as I said, it was pretty uncertain as to what the recovery process would have looked like, because with stuff like a stroke, especially because this was her second stroke, you know, it could have been really bad. And technically, we still don't know the long-term effects of the second stroke. But for right now, things seem to be pretty good. Her mom is speaking normally and all of that good stuff. And so what is really great about this scene is Kelly. We see Kelly like in her element. You can tell that Kelly really enjoys her job, and she's very good at what she does because she's good at articulating these very hard concepts and, you know, legal jargon and financial things to Molly's parents, who seem to kind of be, you know, obviously not aware about these things, and also kind of nonchalant at the same time, and which is frustrating Molly at this point, because obviously she wants things to be okay. And like I said, she's kind of a control freak a little bit, and I mean, like I said, rightfully so, because nothing is worse when something unexpected happens and finances is in shambles, right? And like I said, as the oldest, she got to take on these type of responsibilities. But like I said, Kelly is really doing her thing here, which kind of obviously still got me side-eyeing the show creators, because I wish that we could have seen more of Kelly at work and stuff. I feel like the only time we seen Kelly at work was one of the times when Issa asked for some type of financial help a couple of seasons ago, and that was about it. So it would have been nicer to see more of Kelly doing this, and like I said, her talking about how much she loves doing it, after, you know, her and Molly are kind of debriefing outside. So yeah, so after all of that, Molly goes into her car and basically has a crying session, because that's a lot to take in. This is a very heavy thing we're discussing. Especially she's still probably processing the emotions from her mother's stroke. Like, now more than ever, her parents' mortality is all the more real to her, and she feels like she got to take on all this stuff, you know, like having to be the one to be financially, not financially, but just being responsible to getting this stuff together is a lot. And so then Mr. Tureen calls, and they were supposed to go hang out for dinner, but of course Molly is not in the emotional state to do so, so she, you know, tells him the truth, and he's understanding, and it's beautiful. And then when she gets home, she is talking to Issa about what happened, and we'll talk about that phone call at the end, or when I talk about Issa stuff. But he, you know, gives her a little, he sends her some wine and some wings, which we love an attentive man. Tureen is okay in my book, okay? He is, I'm here for it, okay? I was already here for it, but I ship it like FedEx now, for sure, 100%, okay? I'm here for Tureen and Molly, okay, being a thing, okay? Even though you should never mix business with pleasure, but why the hell not? Okay, he seems like a very great guy, and Molly needs a great guy at this point, okay? So here for it 100%. So there's that. So back to Issa. So Issa is basically faced with some choices, a lot of choices, but definitely in her career, okay? So she's basically between working with, the first option is the people that she's already been working with. I think they're like a water company or something like that, but to do a long-term partnership with them. And in this sequence, she gets a very big pack, like a financial package, I guess, that she gets. And she's big boss lady in this sequence. Okay, she's giving us the photograph inches again. Okay, if you watch the photograph, you know what I'm talking about. She's giving that long, like, auburn straight hairstyle that I love. She looks absolutely beautiful. She looks beautiful in both, by the way, but Issa's just a beautiful woman. You know, she's booking venues, she's having event after event, she's doing speaking engagements, and I feel like this is important to show in this sequence, because if you remember in the first episode when she did the first speaking engagement at Stanford, she was stumbling over words. It was awkward silences galore. She was not confident. She felt so defeated and uncertain about what the hell she's doing with her life and this move that she decided to go on. And as we can see, her hard work paid off. She is confident in this speaking engagement. She's getting feedback from the audience. She's, you know, getting, you know, applause after applause, and she's confident. She's aware of what she's doing. She knows exactly where she's going, and I love to see it. And after the speaking engagement, she gets on a plane to go home. She sees Ty Dolla $ign on the plane, and they're chopping it up. And then he talks about Crenshaw for 2 seconds, and you can see that it makes her kind of like step back a little bit. It makes her pause and feel like you see that she kind of looks like down and sad. And then she goes, or he's saying like, you know, Crenshawn's doing well and he's blowing up and everything's working. And then maybe she thinks, you know, well, I mean, obviously Crenshawn's the other option in the episode. And so it's kind of what could have been maybe. She gets home. And, you know, Mr. Nathan is there. You know, they're all lovey-dovey, whatever. It seems that in this sequence, in both of them actually, that Nathan is in charge of, like, house stuff, because she asks him, like, why did they move away so far away from home? And he gives an answer. I don't remember exactly what he says, but it's something about, there's a reason why they moved so far away. But you know, they're in a very nice, very elegant looking home, okay? And it seems to be very much in love and happy. So that's sequence number 1, if she decides to go with the company that she's been working with so far. The second option is Crenshaw, because Crenshaw comes around, okay? He comes around. He finally caves, okay, and apologizes and realizes the error of his ways, even though I do think both are wrong in the situation. Issa should just apologize. But he does apologize and says, you know, I do think, you know, you did what you did, and you know, you did what you thought was right for that moment, and, you know, I respect it, and I want to have a partnership with you long term, and I'm thinking of opening a store, and I want you to be, you know, in partnership with me. And of course, Issa's hesitant because Crenshaw has been slinging her name through the streets for the past couple of episodes, and when she tried to extend an olive branch, she was not receptive to it, even though technically she did not apologize in this olive branch. Gotta mention that. But, you know, after she goes and sees the space, she starts to fantasize what could be if she goes with this option. And this is more so the hometown option. Like, she gets to stay home more, you know, he gets to open more stores, it's going really well, you know, she's more in the community. And as we know, that is something that Issa has always been passionate about, especially that's why she starts this whole entire venture, right? So everything's working out. She's like a hometown hero, okay? She gets a whole day named after her. It's beautiful, okay? She goes home, Mr. Nathan is there. The problem with this apartment is that it's too cramped, and she asks him, why is it so cramped? You know, and he does give an explanation once again, so sorry. And then he walks out of the frame and then walks back into the frame, and lo and behold, we see freaking Lawrence. She is fantasizing that Lawrence is the one telling her good job and kissing her, and we're like, oh Jesus, this man is like a roach. Like, he just won't die. Like, and I'm not saying die as in like physically die, I mean like the relationship enough, okay? But of course Issa is very thrown off, and it takes her out of the fantasy, and so now she is just thrown off completely. But she goes and speaks to Molly on the phone, as I mentioned earlier, and you know, Molly gives one of the greatest advices in Insecure history, and that is, you know, your choice is your choice, you know, like there is no right or wrong answer. You just gotta go for it. And this is like literally like the Cliff Notes version. What she said was probably way more profound than what I'm saying, but I kind of tie it back to Tiffany's advice from the previous episode, like, you know, like, you just gotta go for it, you know. No, there's no right decision, it's just your decision, you know what I mean? And, you know, just go with your gut and what you're feeling at the moment. And so, you know, it's solid advice. And then, you know, she's there, and her and Nathan are, you know, about to have dinner, and they're talking and everything is good. And then once again, she thinks about Lawrence again. And I'm like, oh my God, girl. I just feel like one of these days she don't call Nathan Lawrence by mistake, child. And he gonna be mad. I mean, anyone would be mad, but you know what I mean? He gonna be pissed, child. Okay? He's going to be pissed. But basically that's basically how the episode ends. And boy, are we in for it. 2 more episodes. How are we going to conclude this mess, child? I do think something that's important to note, though, and I think somebody else mentioned this on Twitter, that in both of Issa's fantasy sequences, though, despite her thinking of both Nathan and Lawrence, when she's having these big wins in her career, like, Nathan is not there. Like, when she gets the whole day named after her, why was Nathan not in the crowd? Like, yes, he mentions that he saw her, like, on a live stream, but it's just weird the fact that they're in this long-term relationship. I'm not sure if they're supposed to be married or just still boyfriend and girlfriend in these sequences, but it's weird that they're, you know, in this serious commitment, and if your partner gets a day named after them or the keys to the city, why are you not physically present? Like, that's just weird and something to pay attention to, because the Insecure writers are very intentional, I believe, and it's just weird that he wasn't present. But I mean, Issa gotta figure this out. She gotta talk to Lawrence, like, and dead this once and for all. Like, either dead it once and for all or get together. Even though I don't think that that's what's gonna happen, but she needs to resolve these feelings, and quickly, because things are accelerating with Nathan. Like, and this can end very badly if she goes about this the wrong way. And like I said, if she does proceed with moving in with Nathan, knowing that she still has feelings for Lawrence, she's just going to repeat the cycle of first season, where she's going to have these lingering feelings for another person and what could be. And she's going to cheat again. And it's not going to bode well for Nathan, because as we know, Issa is the first person he's ever loved, and this could end badly if she does not go about this the best way possible. It's gonna be bad either way, because I mean, breakups suck, but if she cheats again, what have we learned in 5 seasons? Nothing. But I mean, the theme of this whole season has been choices, and you know, hopefully Issa makes the right one. But that's this episode, guys. I'm really hoping that we can resolve everything in 2 episodes, in 2 30-minute episodes. I don't know how, but I'm hoping the Insecure writers can pull it off. Still hoping for a Kelly episode. I still think something's going to happen with Crenshaw, especially since he came around. I don't know. And obviously, Nathan's going to make an appearance. Obviously, he has to. But let me know your thoughts and opinions and your predictions for the next 2 episodes in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll definitely see y'all in my next video. I'll definitely see y'all in my next video. Peace out, y'all.